Wow.
Come out! That's how you beat these goddamn teams!
He knows
These fucking teams come out because they think they got big
what to
balls!
say.
And they challenge your ass! Well, fuck them!
So who would want to be in a dressing room with that guy? That's Ron Rivera. He is Riverboat Ron. And I'm looking at Ron and actually how nice guys can lead well. You can see it here in the NFL. It rhymes, and so will you once you learn exactly how nice guys can do it.
Walter was one of the really great ones. I mean, he really was, and he had it. And what was really neat, though, was the way he included everyone.
Honest as
I'll
well.
never forget when he first met my mother and father and the way he treated them from that point on. It was
Very
like he'd
calm.
known my dad for 20 years. And every time he'd see my dad, he'd take my dad over, hey, let's go get a beer, Gino. And he'd take my dad to get, buy him a beer. I mean, it was really cool. And he's also was really instrumental in me starting my coaching career.
So Ron actually is magnanimous. He gives the credit to other people. He's well able to connect to other people, as you'll see. And other people can actually credit Ron as well. Here's a former player, Christopher McCaffrey, who credits Ron with having great ability to overcome his cancer diagnosis.
Yeah, I reached out to him yesterday. I mean, what an unfortunate deal. I think when you think about Coach Rivera, the first thing I think about is toughness. And,
respect.
When you hear someone has to go through something like that, obviously I don't know the severity of it. I heard, obviously based on what I read, it wasn't as serious as bad would be. But he's going to handle it like a champ. I already know it.
So it just shows you that Ron actually has those strong attributes despite being seen as a nice guy. And another guy who's top of the pops with regard to management in the NFL, of course, is Bill Belichick. But Bill attributes Ron as being a friend of his, and one that Bill doesn't actually believe will even fail with regard to fighting off cancer. Gotta listen to Bill.
On behalf of our team,
I'll shut up.
and organization, first of all, I want to send along our best wishes to Coach Rivera. Ron's been a good friend and certainly a person that's had a great career in the National Football League. He's a quality person, player, coach. So just want to send our best wishes along to him, and hope for a speedy and complete recovery. And hope that he's doing well.
If Bill Belichick says it, it must be true for sure. We wish Ron well all of the time. Who doesn't? Because he's a nice guy. But underneath that nice guy facade, there is something deeper. There's an ability to connect with people, as you can see right here.
Families are stronger when they are together. And today the Ronald McDonald House teamed up with head coach Ron Rivera and helped make families stronger. Even though bowling may be the event, it is Coach Rivera's love and passion for the community that drives this charity.
Well, today's really all about giving back to the community. It's one of the things that we hold near and dear to our hearts as far as this organization is concerned, this team is concerned, and Stephanie and I, we really do believe we got to give back to the people that come out and support us. And I think it's a great way for us to kind of teach our players what community is all about.
So even though he's a nice guy, looks like a guy that's just walking in the park right there, he's one that has the authority and he knows how to use it because he brings people in. Watch here as Ron is able to show exactly his message and how determined he is to be a winner as well as a nice guy.
Thank you. It was about 30 days ago that your team, this team, got me unemployed. So, just so you know, we're good now. Thank you. It is an honor to serve as a coach in the NFL. It really, truly is. There are only 32 of us at any one given time. And these jobs are scarce. This one, the Washington Redskins, this one's special. This is one of the almost original teams. Started in 1932. There's a lot of history behind this football team. In order for us to get back to where we want to be, we've got to study that history, embrace that history, and prepare to repeat that history. Because if we're not, we're doomed to repeat the most recent history. We're not going to do that, guys. We really aren't. Everything we do is going to be about winning. Okay, we're going to do things the right way, and that's the only way we're going to do them. Because if it doesn't help us, we're not doing it.
No more Mr. Nice Guy, but that's the determination that's within Ron. But it comes from others, and he has depth within his personality to be able to actually talk about others and how they're important to the winning mentality that he wants to bring through in his team's mentality. And you can see here how he has a depth with regard to connection of other people, not just in times of hope, but in times of struggle too.
Circumstances, and I've said this, I grew up, to me, the name, the Mexican name was forever. To me, it was one of those, it was on. I mean, that's kind of how you grew up. So you idolized that team, or at least I did. So we went through the process, sitting down, talking with the Tigers, discussing the change. It really kind of came and it was fluid. The Black Lives Matter movement, that was difficult. That was tough, just making sure we knew what to say and how to present it to our organization. That was a learning experience for me.
Ron knows exactly what it's like for Black Lives Movement, for the minorities, and to be able to bring all those people of different abilities in, and yet to recognise the fact that name changes are really important. Name changes will affect how people think and feel about an organisation. Now, Ron was put to the forward end of actually representing all of this name change with the Redskins, and he took it in a very, very well communicated way. He took it in a very dominant but yet professional manner, like a spokesperson doing more than he needed to do. But this came, he believes, from the depth of having a great family, as explains right here.
My father's Puerto Rican, my mother is Mexican and Filipino with some American Indian in it. Growing up in a Hispanic culture, it's unique, it's different. Family is very important. It's one thing I always tell my players, you love them for who they are to you, and that's family.
You make good decisions and you make it happen, all right? Let's go, kiddo.
Everybody always says, well, your dad's from Puerto Rico, where'd you pick up your football? Well, my mom's side of the family is where it all comes from.
He just thinks that it's all that atmosphere of familia, to have familiarity, people around you, so that you can actually connect together and be better. Therefore, he can show and be that nice guy. He can be good cop, bad cop, but he can also be the leader and the person who actually just steers the ship full of people, full of familiar people towards victory. That is his theory and his philosophy such. But it came through another initial connection, even before he was coaching, and that was how he met his wife.
Stephanie was an undergrad as well. Probably the thing that made it stick more so than anything else, she had no idea who I was. And so it just made me chase her even harder.
After going out for a couple times, we just, we hit it off. It was really obvious from the get-go. And so we started dating in August, and by Christmas we were engaged. He starts playing, I'm like, wow, he's good. I had no clue.
So Ron fell in love, as people do, and he became the leader he wanted to be. Now, obviously, his connection with his wife is really important to him, and his wife and himself make his family, but his family is the feel he puts into his teams. Therefore, he appears like this nice guy. But there's a will and a determination to succeed. And when he actually, of course, chased his girlfriend at the time that became his wife, he was looking at greater, deeper values that were in that human being. His wife, who just didn't look at the topsoil as such, the footballer, but more so looked for value in a person. And he got it. But he also used it because it's this value that's really important. And he tried to explain
that we came in and did the best we could. That we were able to help and touch and change some things. And when we leave, hopefully we left it a better place.
What stands out to you most, as you heard from so many players, what stands out to you most about what they've said to you?
Was that they thanked me for the things off the field, not the things on the field. Anybody can coach you up, but to help somebody in life, I think that's cool. And so when I've had the guys, that have said, hey, really appreciate you, thank you for the advice on this, that's been worth everything.
So that's why it's really important to Ron to have the right people around you. And in games, in competition, you're going to have times of stress, pressure. And none more so of those times of stress and pressure are you going to be prepared than when you actually look back at moments in your own life of how you can actually deal with that pressure and stress. And Ron has had it better than anybody with cancer diagnosis, and he came out in front to show how brave he really was and not just Mr. Nice Guy.
was to get it out the right way. We wanted to make sure people understood that what I am afflicted with right now is most certainly a very treatable and very curable disease. I'm very fortunate. I have what's called squamous cell sarcoma. It is a cancer. It did get into my lymph node, and it's a very treatable one. There's been a very high success rate, so I fall into that category. And so there's an opportunity for us to take care of this and be able to go forward.
But perhaps he was inspired. And again, this connection with family, this niceness, this good appeal that he got from his brother who passed away from cancer before Ron.
Well, the one thing about it is, and just knowing who my brother was really about, never really about him. He never complained. He just went out and worked hard. And, when you talk to somebody who's in a situation like this, and you see that they just keep going forward, keep doing the best they can, you do draw inspiration from them. You do draw, I think, strength, because, if everything they go through, which is bad, your day can't be that bad.
So for Ron, he takes inspiration from others, but he also gives inspiration. It's not just Mr. Nice Guy. It's that inspirational connection again we're talking about. And here's his final Panthers interview. And again, he didn't have to say what he said or feel like he felt. He could have been a little bit, shall we say, a little bit vengeful. But indeed, he was very magnanimous and showed how really and truly it was important to connect with other players like he did.
I just wanted to make sure they knew how much I appreciated them, how much I believe in them. There's a lot of young men in there that have tremendous character. And I wanted to remind those players that at the end of the day, when you walk out the door, as I will pretty soon, it's all about your character.
So Ron has underlying quality. We can see that. But in this particular clip, next you can see how he gracefully talks about his Hispanic heart. This is what is underneath it all. This is why he can connect with not just Hispanics, not just whites and blacks, but everybody. And this is why he needs to be Mr. Nice Guy, because this is what he sees as the underlying value to connecting with everybody.
My father's family now comes from Bayamon, Puerto Rico. My father joined the military there, was did his basic at Fort Dix, then was sent to Fort Ord, California, where he met my mother. My dad's family's still in Bayamon, Puerto Rico. And it's really kind of a neat set of circumstances to have family there. Football is trying to become a world sport, and I think it's kind of neat just seeing the kind of fan support. I mean, partly because of my mother's heritage and my father's heritage, there's a tremendous amount of pride involved in it as well. You're breaking down barriers, and it's unique. It really is kind of neat. It is a great sense of pride for me. But the truth of the matter is, at the end of the day, I do want to be known for being a good head coach, and I want to earn it on my merit as well.
So Ron is a top guy, and he wants to win. He can show this too with caring, really caring with people, but being brave and communicating it so that others can communicate and be brave too in their own self-leadership in their games too. This is a time when Ron had a huge challenge with his family, not knowing where his family were after a hurricane, and here's how he showed that bravery once again.
We've only heard from one of my cousins so far, and I haven't had a chance to call my father back in California to see if he's heard from anybody else. So it's tough because I really worry about my dad and how he's feeling about it more so than anything else. I mean, he's in California while his family's there.
Not that easy, you would imagine, right then, not knowing where your family were, the safety and all of them. Thankfully, all went okay. Now the thing about Ron is, again, Mr. Nice Guy, it's fine to be like that, but at the end of the day, you have to win, you have to compete. But Ron is very determined to do so. He's very centered on his approach towards victory.
The truth of the matter is every loss you take personal. I take personal because I feel like I let a lot of people down. So do I sleep well? No, I don't. Do I think about a lot of things? Absolutely. Do I know how I get to work in the morning after a loss? No. All I know is I got in the car, next thing you know, I'm at the stadium. Every one of them grinds me, and that's just the way it is because I feel responsible.
So that's Ron Rivera, Riverboat Ron, the guy that everybody likes, and yet he can compete and win too. You too can do the same. Being a nice boy, girl, or guy can also make you be a connecting and fantastic leader on the field or off the field, coaching and so on. So please subscribe if you like the video. There'll be many more. Until next time though, please do be nice and, well, why not? Have a wonderful day.